it interesting how some people feel that they're entitled to what you have? You know, you go somewhere and somebody asks you for money and they expect that, give me the money, as if, you know, they worked for it, you know, something that you have, and they feel that they're entitled to it. It's this entitlement mentality thing that, you know, something that's going around. And that is going to be the discussion for today. Come with me.
So I have this problem with this entitlement mentality. Now, this happened to me for real. A couple of years ago. So I was in church. And pastor preached, you know, he preached a very good message. He spoke about faith. And, you know, at the end, he raised a seed and all of that, of about $1,000. And I stood up, I felt the nudge in my spirit. I stood up, I went outside. To be honest, I didn't have the money at that time. Not even in my account. You know, and I went there, raised my hand, filled the form, and I went back to my seat. Everything was fine. And then I was going home in my car, and I have this slightly older friend. He's married with kids. And then he walks up to me and he says, "Oh, Papa, how far, please? Can I get like 1,000 naira, you know, to just help my family home, transport and all of that?" And to be honest, I didn't have that money with me. And then I look at him and I'm like, "Oh, Baba, sorry, I don't have money." And then he gave me this stinking attitude, like, like, really, how dare you say that kind of thing? Like, wow. You know, I was so tempted to call him out, like to reply him immediately and say, "Guy, you're not the one paying my bills. You don't pay me salary. Why would you have?" You know, I was so pissed. It took me a while to get over it. But then it still bothers me, like, why do we have, like, why do a lot of people, especially in church, have this mentality of, you know, if I walk up to you and ask you for money, you should give me, especially if you're, you know, well-to-do. If you look like you're comfortable, it's so annoying. And there's this very thin line, you know, where, you know, you almost seem like you're proud. But I know within me that I'm not proud. At least in that scenario. You know, and I don't have this money to give you. So why should you make me feel bad? About my own money.
I know,
it's so annoying.
It's interesting. I mean, entitlement, you know, it's, you know, people come, as you said, people come up to you and they think, well, you have some money, so give it to me. Well, I deserve to have a bit of your money. You know, and, you know, obviously, I mean, you decide whether you want to give something or not. And you should give if you want to. If you want to give. I mean, but somebody shouldn't feel, somebody shouldn't make you feel guilty for not giving. I mean, as we said, sometimes you don't actually have the money. Because sometimes, you know, people look at you and they say, he's dressed in a particular way, his shoes, then he must have X amount of money on him, or he must have such. So let me go up and ask. And when you decline, and you have a right to decline, actually, you do actually have the right to decline. I mean, you decide whether God is leading. Because sometimes people come to you, and you kind of think, and even sometimes in your spirit, you know, and that's happened to me, sometimes in your spirit, you know, God says no. Sometimes God doesn't want you to give to them. So I think with some of these people who go around, I mean, if it becomes a habit, because for some people it becomes habitual, and they're going around and they check people out and, you know, eye them up and down, think,
profile them, and
that we can do something, and they go around and ask people for money, and when people don't do what they want, they actually they themselves get quite abused. Some of them can become abusive, or they look at you with a particular eye. And I think sometimes we have to some of them have to be reported. Like sometimes in church, you have to actually tell the right people, okay, Pastor, this guy, he's been hanging around in the car park, he speaks to 10 people and asks, and when we don't respond to him favorably, this is what he does. Sometimes I'll alert other people. Sometimes you might even see he came to me and he's accosting somebody else over there. Sometimes to tell the other person that, look, this guy came to me as well, and he went to that person. Sometimes we have to maybe sometimes in church we keep silent, and then the person goes around to about 20 other people. Keeps doing it. Yes, and I think even then at some point, you know, that somebody in church might even be able to call the guy and say, look, you know, if you need some help, let's sit down and maybe we can work out some arrangement. What are you doing? And find out whether there's a genuine need. Because for some people, there might be a genuine need.
True.
And for some people, they're just trying to milk the situation. But for some people, there might be a genuine need. So we're able to say, okay, well, for some churches, we have a welfare department. Why don't you speak to the head of the welfare? Why don't you speak to this person? Let's see what we can do. I think maybe take it in that direction as well, so that if there's somebody, as I said, with a genuine need, they can be helped. But obviously, you want to also try and fish out the ones who feel, well, we are entitled, you are rich, and since I am poor, I am entitled to your riches.
But
so give me some.
I was also thinking, because it crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it because I stood up to give this seed that this guy walked up to me? Isn't that like covetousness or something? Like, there are people people like that. Because if I didn't stand up,
yes,
there's a chance like he probably won't walk up to me.
Yes, I suppose some people. Well, the issues are some people are actually. Some people are monitoring people. I don't know what they're monitoring church. They're watching who is giving the biggest offering, who comes forward, and then okay, he's the target. After service, let's go and ask him. Since he can pledge $1,000, he must have some small change. Some small change which I deserve. So I think some of those things, you have to be the mature one, because otherwise, if you're not careful, you get upset. You might even say something that you regret. So I think as you just take it in your stride. If you don't have it, I don't have it. If you feel that you want to help, you help. But obviously, when you feel that this thing is now becoming a pattern, then you know that okay, I need to tell somebody else about it.
Okay.
So that if this is going around other people as well, then somebody needs to know about it. My pastor needs to know about it. Let's speak to our head of welfare. Somebody needs to be aware, so that so that the person can also, if there really is an issue whereby they feel that they're entitled, there's also an issue to be dealt with there.
Definitely.
Because the spirit is not even right. The spirit in which they're engaging people is not right, and that in itself needs to be dealt with. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.